and welcome to the first episode of the Polished Nerd Podcast. I'm your host, Oliver Cardrick, and with me, as he will always be, because I can't get rid of him, is Matthew Patterson.
Hello, sorry, I'm just reading WikiHow, how to write a podcast introduction.
Yeah, we're new to this, if you haven't gathered, so I hope you enjoy our first episode.
We'll be talking everything. We'll be talking films, games, TV, pop culture. We'll be talking pop culture.
Occasional comic book.
Occasional comic book.
Yeah, so that's it, and on with the show. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about things that are coming up in 2018 and things we're excited for.
And things we're not so excited for, because we're British, and that's kind of the way we operate.
Yes, indeed. So the first thing we're going to talk about is Avengers Infinity War.
Like it or not, the biggest story of the year. Kind of dreading this one, actually.
I honestly don't care.
Kind of dreading this a lot. I can't shake the feeling that Marvel are going to drop the ball with it. I don't think they have the balls to make Thanos the threat that he needs to be for this film.
My biggest worry comes from the fact that if you include Civil War, which you should, we've had 3 Avengers movies.
We have.
One of them has been good.
Yeah.
So it's not got the best track record.
No, it hasn't.
And Robert Downey Jr. demands importance, and he doesn't need to be an important character.
Iron Man doesn't warrant it anymore.
No.
I don't think.
I mean, how much are they're paying him ridiculous money still. He half-asses every performance he ever appears in. He was good in Homecoming, but he didn't need to be there.
No.
He was, again, it's Civil War, he was important, but it just wasn't. Although I'd say Civil War was probably his best performance as Iron Man.
Yeah, but that comes from the Civil War storyline rather than a particularly good performance, I think, because Iron Man is central to that plot.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't liked him since Iron Man.
No, but the less said about the the later Iron Man films, the better, I think.
Yes, there's been some interesting takes of the character, like him quitting being Iron Man and then coming back for no reason.
Yeah, the arc reactor's gone. Nope, it's back again.
Yeah.
He's back. Why? I don't even think there was a post-credit scene for Iron Man 3, and I don't think it explained that, actually.
I swear it was just him on a sofa talking with Bruce Banner.
It was, and nothing more than that.
But anyway, this isn't an Iron Man film, this is an Avengers movie, so we should probably talk about the other Avengers.
Yes, we probably should, because they do exist, loath as Marvel are to remind us that they do.
Yes, we're gonna have more of that amazing Benedict Cumberbatch accent.
Oh dear, I am not looking forward to that.
And Captain America beard.
Captain America beard.
It's not a good beard.
It's not a good beard, is it? It's not a good beard at all. Do you think we'll see Captain Marvel?
I hope so, but the thing that I don't quite understand with what they're going to do with Captain Marvel is, because I don't know Captain Marvel, I don't know the character at all. She's human, right?
I couldn't tell you. I think so.
Because her movie is being set in the 80s.
Right.
And so, if she's human, are we meant to expect that Brie Larson has not aged in 40 years? Because I assume Avengers Infinity War is being set in 2018. So does her superpowers stop her from aging, or is she not human? I don't understand this.
Oh, she's a human Kree hybrid.
Okay, so
which explains that. I think.
So she could
pretty succinctly.
They could bring her in. I'm not sure if we'll see her. It's a bit interesting. It'd be a bit of a DC approach to things to introduce a character in a.
I can't. If they're going to introduce her, I can't shake the idea that they're going to introduce her and she's going to turn the tide single-handedly.
Yeah.
She's that sort of character, isn't she?
But they've already got so many characters that haven't been explored. Like we've got the Wasp is probably going to show up.
Yeah, she probably will actually. What sort of role she'll have?
No, yeah, but instead of introducing Captain Marvel in this movie, I would rather see them do something with the Netflix characters. I know they're not going to.
No.
But I'd rather see something done there, and then introduce Captain Marvel later down the line, than introduce Captain Marvel and forget about the Netflix characters, because although they're not going to sway the tide in the Infinity War, they're more useful than Hawkeye. They're more useful than Black Widow.
So the other big question hanging over the head of this film, there's been so much speculation about it, who, if anyone, is gonna die?
Everyone.
Now,
Everyone.
Now, Kevin Feige has come out and said not to expect. Well, his exact words were not to expect all of the Phase 1 Avengers to die. He thinks there are more meaningful ways to write them out, to write certain characters out, rather than just Thanos going on some sort of murder spree and just leaving Hawkeye or something like that.
So, who do you reckon... Iron Man's going to die. Iron Man needs to die.
I think it makes sense for Iron Man to die, especially with the whole father-son angle they've been trying to build with Spider-Man.
Yeah, and then Spider-Man can step up.
And then obviously the Iron Spider. I'm not sure, I don't know too much about it, but I think there was a rumour going around with some sort of confirmation that the man we see in the Hulkbuster outfit is actually Bruce Banner. Now, whether or not that could tease anything like that, or whether it's just Iron Man is in a different suit, I have no idea. But I think it's a good point. There are ways to give weight to what's happening without just murdering everyone.
Well, yeah, because you can have Iron Man. I do honestly believe Iron Man needs to die. Captain America, he's a war criminal, so it would make sense if his just steps back, retires, something like the world doesn't like Captain America anymore.
Yeah.
Thor can become the new Odin and go and become the king of Asgard. Oh, Asgard got destroyed.
The king of what exactly?
Yeah. So he can't become the king of Asgard. Okay, Thor. I don't know. They've got Valkyrie.
I feel like keeping Thor and Loki alive through Ragnarok. They've only done that so they can go out with some sort of meaning here.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there was any other reason to do that than to keep them there around for the crossover and then forget about them moving into Phase 4.
Yeah. I think it would be a ballsy move to kill Loki, because he has been the only interesting villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe since day one.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, I mean, we're going to touch on that in the weeks to come.
But that would be ballsy.
So I'll be very surprised if Vision survives. I know that's an obvious one to make, but he, obviously being a hybrid of Jarvis and the Yellow Infinity Stone, I forget which one it is.
Mind or soul?
It's the Mind, that's it, the Mind Gem.
Yeah.
So he literally cannot exist outside of the gem, I don't think.
And if Thanos has
the
the
gem's
gem,
power is keeping his form. And if Thanos is seen taking the gem out of his head, we can't assume he's going to live. Not that he's that major anyway.
But the thing that I've never understood is, how is Thanos a threat to Vision? Because Vision can edit himself on a molecular level. So all he has to do is not be there.
Comic books, I think. Comic books.
Why doesn't he just, phase into the other side of the universe? Why doesn't he phase out of existence?
Yeah, but... I know, but why does Thanos need any other stone than the Power Stone?
Yeah.
If he's got infinite power, does that not give him dominion over... It's inherent problems with, the story rather than the film.
It sounds like we're ragging on this movie quite a lot.
Yeah, that's because we are.
Yeah.
I am actually interested to see... I'm hesitant to say excited. I know there's hype like nobody would believe, because this is the film that all three phases of Marvel have been building towards.
Yeah, when did they first introduce Thanos? It was in Avengers, wasn't it?
His first post-credits appearance was Avengers, I believe, yes.
So we've been waiting for this for 6 years?
Yes. So there's been a 6-year hype train. It's going to draw like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything's going to change that. Even if it's terrible, it's going to draw so much goddamn money.
Yeah, it's opening weekend. Even if it's terrible, the opening weekend alone will make this movie worth it for Disney.
You look at the Age of Ultron, which wasn't great. I mean, the Rotten Tomatoes score was 75%. It was received generally quite badly. Ultron was pretty much wailed against, actually. And that drew nearly $1.5 billion.
Yeah.
Infinity War is going to make...
It's
probably $2 billion. I'd be surprised if it came short of that.
It's going to be in the top 4 highest grossing movies of all time. I don't know if it'll top Force Awakens, because if there's one thing that could beat
Marvel for hype,
it's Star Wars.
Something even more accessible than that.
It's not, unless it's good, because a lot of people have a problem with Force Awakens, so it died off. Well, it didn't die off, it did incredibly well, but because a lot of people didn't like it at the time, because they thought, reboot, yada yada yada, it lost a bit in its following weeks. If this is good, we could see another Avatar here.
It's entirely dependent on how they do Thanos, because, like you say, Marvel has struggled with good villains.
Yes.
They've all been pathetic.
Yes.
Either that or dead. I quite liked Red Skull. However,
Hugo
we don't know
Weaving.
where he is.
Hugo
and
Weaving
Hugo
left the
Weaving
project.
is probably never going to come back
Which
to.
I don't understand why they didn't just recast him. They did it with Hulk.
Yeah, they've done it with Hulk. What, 3 times? Twice?
Once in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because
Yeah.
it was Edward Norton. Now it's Ruffalo. Is that
Yeah,
his name?
Mark Ruffalo. Yeah.
So they have recast. I'm pretty sure there's other characters that, like background characters, that have been recast. I can't think of any right now, but so there's precedent for it. I don't think. Also, he's in heavy prosthetics, so no one's going to really notice.
No.
But then again, like, are we past the point of Red Skull being a threat now?
I think so. I think for Red Skull to suddenly pop back after, especially because they're about to take on Thanos, the
Yeah.
Mad Titan, if a red dude comes back and goes, "Hey, I'm a threat too,"
Yeah.
it's going to be a bit fucking laughable. Which is another good point, actually. Where do they go from here? I know that Guardians 3, they're teasing Adam Warlock, who canonically in the Marvel comic book universe is the guy that stopped Thanos when he had the Infinity Gauntlet. He was tricked basically by Adam Warlock.
What comes out first, Infinity War Part 2 or Guardians 3? Because that could be where they're going with this. If Guardians 3 comes out before Infinity War, we could see Adam Warlock, introduced in Guardians as a villain, tamed by the Guardians or whoever is part of it, and then moving forward could be the one that stops Thanos.
That would be weird because we're expected to believe that halfway through the Infinity War, the Guardians just bugger off and do something else for a bit.
Well, they're going to, aren't they? Because I mean, there's films in between Infinity War 1 and 2.
So Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, and then Avengers.
Oh, so it's not
Guardians 3 is scheduled for 2020. So Ant-Man and the Wasp is actually after Infinity War. That's
interesting.
interesting.
Unless Ant-Man and the Wasp aren't in Infinity Wars. Have we seen Ant-Man in the trailer?
Not that I can remember.
He might be in there, but I don't remember seeing him.
Which again begs the question: what on earth is he doing that could be more important?
But what can he do to
I
stop
know.
Thanos?
On the one hand, what can he do? On the other, why isn't he doing anything?
But then on the other hand, what can any of them do to stop
Well,
Thanos?
that's true. I think
Captain America's a bit strong.
Part 1 is the scene in the trailer. Before we move on, just quickly, of the scene in the trailer with Captain America using his hands to hold
Stop.
basically a fight of strength against Thanos. It's like, fuck off with that. Don't do that.
I mean, Captain America's cool, but
He's not goddamn Thanos, is he?
No.
Really.
okay. So yeah, we'll move on to the next thing. But quickly, I just want to say, after Infinity War, what is your Avengers lineup and who is leading it?
So obviously I'm hoping that Iron Man bites it because it makes not that I have anything against the character, it just makes storyline sense. He's been milling around really since his trilogy concluded. He's not been playing any sort of meaningful role apart from the father-son angle with Spider-Man, and obviously with Spider-Man donning the Iron Spider suit, there's we're going to see the conclusion of that. I think the conclusion of that angle.
Yeah.
Obviously Black Panther will be part of this new Avengers.
Judging by his success, I imagine he'll probably be leading it.
Well, you don't know, though. It's drawn like $400 million or something, and it's still in theatres. It's crazy.
Was it 97%?
97 on Rotten Tomatoes, matching it with The Godfather Part 2. Neither of us have seen the film.
No.
We should stress that now. Neither of us have seen it.
I'm very poor. Matt doesn't have an excuse.
Well, there you go. Thank you, Ollie. So obviously Spider-Man will be there. I don't think he's a leader as such.
Captain America, will he still be there?
I
Maybe in a Nick Fury style
I
role.
think it would be nice if Captain America retires or runs off or whatever. It would be nice if Bucky took the mantle up.
See, I'd like to see Captain America in a Nick Fury role.
Yeah, as some sort of administrative shield role. 'Cause
Like
he's a tactician, isn't he?
Yeah.
And if he doesn't want to fight, I mean, he's technically a war criminal, as you say. So where they go with that?
Yeah. Hulk. I imagine Hulk will still be around.
I don't think Hulk is going anywhere. I don't think he has any sort of replacement as such.
No. We're gonna have Ant-Man and the Wasp because they've got a film coming out.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Captain Marvel.
We're going to have Doctor Strange.
We're-
I think Is it too easy to say that Captain Marvel will be leading him?
See, I don't know. I think personally, it's going to be between Spider-Man and Black Panther.
That's an interesting choice.
Black Panther,
not necessarily one I'd agree with.
Black Panther because, he's popular. His movie's amazing. Apparently, I haven't seen it. The actor Chadwick Boseman, I haven't seen the movie, but he was amazing in Civil War. Probably the best part of the movie.
Yeah.
So he's got the charisma to lead the role. And then Spider-Man, I feel like they've been teasing that. They've been, as you said, like the protege of Tony Stark. Like, and the whole thing about Spider-Man is his personality has always reminded me of Captain America. He's not the strongest, he's not the smartest, but he just doesn't give up. And that's the kind of person.
The resiliency.
Yeah.
I can see that point. I don't think Marvel are that bold, really.
No, and they
I think if it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Captain Marvel, especially with her film falling in between the
Yeah.
two Avengers films.
I don't know much about Brie Larson. I don't think I've ever seen her in anything.
No, I agree.
So I can't really judge on her acting capability. But I'm sure. I mean, Marvel have managed to pluck people out of nowhere for these movies. I mean, before Captain America, Chris Evans was doing the Fantastic Four.
Well, exactly.
And-
Not just in the actor field, but the director field. I think.
Yeah.
When we talk about that, we can talk about the directors and how they're. For example,
We've got the Russo brothers coming from TV.
well, yes, exactly. James Gunn's first major film was Guardians, I think.
Yeah, well, apart from Slither, but that was more of an indie.
Well, exactly. His first big budget film
Yeah.
was Guardians of the Galaxy. Maybe one of the best film. Well, at least tied.
Yeah.
Best film of Phase 2 with.
It's got to be up there with all time.
probably, yeah, I think. Okay, we better move on.
Yes.
Because we've been about.
We've been talking for 16 minutes about Avengers Infinity
Yeah,
War.
let's move on.
So next up, we've got the much-awaited Rockstar sequel, Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'll be surprised if this comes out in 2018.
It's meant to be out by now, isn't it? Spring. It's coming and we've heard nothing.
Rockstar, they haven't had a track record with. Not that their games are bad when they come out. They just have never come out on time. I don't think.
And I like that because they don't take your Ubisoft route where they rush a game to a release date.
There's very rarely a big day one update.
No.
Like a lot of games.
Unless it's GTA Online.
A worrying amount of yes, unless it's GTA Online, but like a worrying amount of AAA games.
Yeah.
Rely on nowadays as a tactic.
No, they make their release date ready for their game, not their game ready for their release date.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a much better way of doing things.
I know that inherently delays are bad, but it garners faith, doesn't it? It shows they care.
Yeah.
Their customers aren't sheep to them, like your Ubisofts with your
EAs.
generic games and your EAs with your loot boxes. And oh god, we need to talk about that at some point.
Yes.
But it's nice. It's nice. I think Rockstar Games are one of the few companies that treat games as art forms rather than cash cows. They really, as much as I loathe the word, they're cinematic, they're immersive, they're explorative.
Yes.
In a way that most open world games aren't nowadays.
No.
They're very much. I never thought I'd reach the day where the term open world actually puts me off a game.
Yeah.
Because open world is not the same as limitless things to do.
No. I don't know. Maybe this is the cynic in me, but
Almost definitely.
the
Go
Red
on.
Dead 2 delay, I kind of feel a part of it is to build hype because it's worked.
I think that Red Dead 2 builds all the hype it needed to. The
mean-
title of Red Dead 2.
I mean,
the internet fucking lit up when Rockstar changed their Facebook logo from yellow to red. It fucking exploded. Like, Rockstar was trending in like a minute. It was absolutely insane. I don't think to build more hype than that would be damaging, and especially when it comes at the cost of delaying a game like that.
I'm cynically optimistic about this game because GTA 5 was amazing. But part of the reason that I feel that GTA 5 was seen as such an amazing game was because GTA 4 was not.
Yeah, GTA 4 was somewhat forgettable. I wouldn't say bad as such, just kind of there.
I'd put it at the worst 3D major platform GTA game.
Is it worst or bland? Well, GTA game. Yeah, it was very kind of because what did it follow? It followed
What?
What Grand Theft Auto games did it follow?
It was 3 Vice City and San Andreas.
3 Vice City and San Andreas.
Those are the 3D games. Oh, you got Liberty City Stories, but they're kind
so
of
it followed those three, and well, arguably not three, but Vice City and San Andreas were objectively
better games.
revolutionary.
3.
I don't think we'd seen sandbox games like that before.
Well, 3
on that sort of scale.
3 was. I remember playing 3 for the first time. I shouldn't have been playing it.
I was going to say, were you 18, Oliver?
I was about 6, and my uncle let me play it, and I never played anything like. I played 3D games before, but I'd never played a game that was that open and free. Like, it was the first. I don't know. It probably wasn't, but it was the first 3D open world game that I remember.
Mm.
That and Spider-Man 2, which was amazing.
Spider-Man 2 was pretty good.
But so that's so this is my problem with Red Dead 2 is GTA 5 was amazing because it was following a game that somewhat disappointed.
So Red Dead 2 has bigger shoes to fill.
Because Red Dead was a perfect game. I still play that. I've just re-downloaded it on my Xbox One, and I've put. I mean, the original hours on my Xbox 360 would have been. I don't even want to think about how long. And now I've re-downloaded it and probably put the same amount of hours to get in again. And this game came out. Don't know a long time ago.
Yeah.
And it's still like even graphically, it still holds up today. It's still a gorgeous game.
I actually bought it, completed it, sold it, and then re-bought it and replayed it.
It's just
because I saw it for the complete edition with the Undead Nightmare DLC back when Zombie DLC was a novelty and not a fucking given.
No, that was a good DLC as well because it was so different. It felt like a completely new game.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what DLC should be.
I remember just having completed it, at John Marston zombie John Marston riding around on a unicorn, and I thought, is this the same game?
Yeah, that should have been we should have seen
that's
GTA
what
Online
DLC should
coming.
be. Your kind of Far Cry, Blood Dragon. Let's go mad with what we've got here.
Blood and Wine for The Witcher.
Exactly. Just taking what you've got and really running with it, and just being as imaginative as you can with it.
Ballad of Gay Tony for GTA 4 saved that game for me.
So the other thing to talk about, obviously GTA 5's main replayability comes from its online mode. Red Dead 2 will have an online mode. Will it be as generic as Red Dead 1's? Because I enjoyed Red Dead 1's online mode for probably about 10 or 15 hours, and then I realised that...
once you'd taken Fort Mercer, you'd done it all.
Exactly. I would take Fort Mercer and then go, hey, that was fun, and then just do that again, because that's the fastest way to level up. And what do you get for levelling up? Oh, a faster horse.
I feel like they need to... I mean, there's rumoured that there's going to be a massive full map Battle Royale mode. And with the rise of Battle Royale games at the moment, I don't know how I feel about that. Does it feel like a cash-in, or does it feel like something that they planned this all along and it's lateral thinking?
Red Dead is not the sort of setting that screams Battle Royale to me. I feel like if they were to do that, it would be because of PUBG, because of Fortnite, because of these sort of, very profitable games.
But
will it
GTA
be bad?
Online
Not
that?
Inherently.
GTA Online is basically that anyway. You log on to GTA Online, it's just player versus player.
So what excites me about Red Dead 2's online mode is that they can't go as mad as they have with GTA. I've stopped playing GTA Online. I've put probably about 50 or 60 hours into it. But I've stopped playing it because I'm sick of how... I appreciate the kind of the no-holds-barred approach they're taking.
Yeah.
But to players who've been playing since the early game and have invested all their money into sort of pre-patch vehicles, pre-patch properties, all of a sudden it's kind of... I'm running around in my I don't know, my military jeep thinking I'm quite good, and nowadays I go around in my military jeep and I get shot by some idiot on a flying bike. It's like, this is not the same game that launched, and I do appreciate it, but at the same time, it's not what it was, and I
No.
don't like that. I can't just go on a public server and muck around with friends anymore.
I've not been on a public server in forever.
No,
You go on a
because they're death traps.
Yeah. I hope they delay it like they did with GTA 5 Online. I want.
If it's not perfect, I hope they do. I don't want them to delay it for delaying's sake.
I do, because I want 6 months where it's just the single player. Because I want, you know,
Oh, I see your point now. Yeah.
to be able to experience that single player experience like they did with GTA 5. You can invest yourself in the characters, and then once you've done everything you can do in the single player, they drop the online on you, and you can explore that world anew. If they do it just at once, the temptation will always be there. So while you're playing the single player, just to dip into online, and then you'll get trapped like you do with GTA, and you're there for like 6 hours, and then you have to go to work, and you haven't really progressed any further with the storyline.
I can see the point in that. That's very fair, actually. So not so much delaying, more just holding back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the logic in that. I feel like if it was given to us straight away, I'd focus on the single player anyway, as I did with GTA. Not that the story for GTA was particularly good.
No.
That's something we can go into. I think it's actually quite a weird story.
Yeah. It's
So the main talking point is obviously Trevor. Stephen Ogg, I'm not taking anything away from his performance. It is fantastic. Probably one of the best voice acting performances we've seen.
He's the only interesting character in GTA 5.
He is, but unfortunately he's surrounded by Franklin, who is the most generic kind of Wonder Boy protagonist we've ever seen, and Michael, whose solution to being unhappy with loads of money is to get more money.
Yes.
Which never made sense to me.
No, and you can tell the writers watched a lot of The Sopranos with Michael.
Yes, yes, you can. There's something to be said about the lack of strong female characters as well. They all seem to be just either mad or bitches.
Well, it's just been announced a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, that GTA 6, two things, it will be set in Vice City. I don't know if this is a rumour or an official announcement.
I think it's hearsay. Maybe a leak or two are involved.
And also that we will be getting a female protagonist. Those are the two major talking points from this leak. I'm not sure if it's a hacked email or, someone who used to work at Rockstar talking. I couldn't be bothered to research that much. But, so they might be addressing that. And also, I don't know, again, if this is rumour or anything, but I've heard a lot of rumours that one of the playable characters in Red Dead, because there's rumoured to be 7 playable characters in Red Dead 2.
Okay, so that will be every member of the posse?
Every member of Dutch's gang.
Dutch's gang.
One of them is, I cannot remember her name, Abigail.
Abigail. Oh, okay.
So back when she was a prostitute and a part of the gang and a gun, so that would be quite cool. I'm not sure how verified that is, but I quite like that because nothing was done with her in Red Dead.
No, definitely not.
Her and Jack were. I mean, Jack got a bit cool at the end, but even then, a lot of
that was
hatred.
only because he started being John.
Yeah.
I only started liking him when he after John died, and Jack Marston essentially became a young John Marston.
And I don't know if this is anything.
Spoilers.
Yes, for a game that's probably as old as we are.
Spoilers.
Another thing that I've heard, again, I can't tell you where this is from. It might even just be something that I thought about.
So, because of the internet being what it is, a lot of people confuse hearsay with.
Yeah, but one of the rumours is that, again, spoilers potentially. I don't know. Don't listen if you don't want a potential spoiler. Is the main character in Red Dead 2 will die. And then, like you played as Jack at the end of the original Red Dead, you will take over as young John Marston for the end game play in Red Dead 2.
I see. That sounds like something someone would speculate rather than... Because that's a very specific detail to be leaked.
I don't know where I think I've probably just watched some other YouTube video on that or something, and it's probably a speculation video. But I'd like that.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I'd be open to that.
Not sure if it's any validity. If it's wrong, don't say anything to me. You don't know who I am, so that's pretty good. But yeah, this game is going to destroy the world, I think. I don't think I'm going to probably fail my degree because of this game.
A great thing to say on the podcast that you're submitting to your degree administrator.
Yes.
Oh dear. Right. So
that
let's.
was loud. Sorry, headphone people.
Apologies. That's going to need some. editing, I think.
I'll try. I'll fix that in post.
So let's move on again. So another big film release coming out this year is Solo.
It's a couple of months away, isn't it?
May. It's very soon, sooner than I thought it would be.
I think it's May, and they've moved their release date from December to May.
I think so, which isn't an encouraging sign. In fact, everything we've heard about this film is very disencouraging.
No,
discouraging.
Well, let's just go through this shitstorm that is the movie that nobody wanted.
Well, there's the inherent problem with picking Han Solo to do an origin story on, because as great a character as Han Solo is, and as great a job as Harrison Ford did, he's not an interesting...
He's a side character.
We don't look at him and go, I want to know where he came from. We can assume where he came from.
Yeah.
That's not important. To pick Han Solo just because he's dead and people are upset about that.
And that he's, again, spoilers. For those 3 people in the world that didn't see Force Awakens.
Yeah. In which case, get out of your caves and go and rent it.
And also, why are you listening to this podcast? So, it's an interesting way to go. I am not... Star Wars is everything to me. If there's one... you could take everything pop culture out of my life and leave me with Star Wars, pretty sure I'd be quite happy with that trade-off. This is everything to me. And to do a Han Solo movie, I mean, I've always kind of assumed, I've always personally thought that Han Solo is an overhyped character anyway. Harrison Ford did a good job with what was given to him, but if you actually look at he's just an asshole who falls in love and says funny one-liners. And in
the world of Star Wars, where so many interesting, deep characters exist around him, he's just an asshole with a gun.
Yeah.
That's the extent of all we need to know about him.
I would have preferred this movie to be a young Lando movie with Han Solo as a side character. Because Lando is an interesting character who wasn't explored.
Exactly. And Han Solo would be where he works best.
Yeah. As a side character who comes in, says something silly, pulls a funny face, shoots a guy, and then leaves. That's kind of Han Solo's entire character arc. Again, I'm probably really annoying people by saying this.
So, the inherent problem with Han Solo is perhaps debatable. What's not debatable is what's been leaked by a set hand of some description. I don't think any more has been said on who they are and what role they play in the production of the film. But there's the problems with... now, I'm going to mispronounce his name, and this is embarrassing. Alden Ehrenreich.
Yes.
Apparently, dude can't act.
No. Which is weird, because he was quite good in the Coen Brothers movie, Hail Caesar. He was interesting. He was cool in that. He played a young actor in the movie who couldn't act. Okay, maybe not.
Right.
Who needed a dialect coach. Now that sounds...
It does sound familiar. This leak apparently has said that he's needed dialect coaching through almost every single one of his lines. And Ehrenreich himself has said that he thinks this Han in the Solo film is more of an idealist with dreams that he follows, and sort of we're exploring the effects that those dreams have on him. Which again...
It's not Han Solo.
It is not really what we want from Han Solo.
And also, how old is Han Solo in this movie, do you reckon?
Well, how old is he in the original trilogy? He's
I'd say late 30s.
Possibly.
Judging by how old Harrison Ford was, this is entirely what I'm going with. So that means that... And this guy, I'm not even going to pretend to pronounce his name, is, I'd say, late 20s, early 30s? This is an actor who might be a lot younger than that, I don't know. So there's going to be, let's say, be generous, 10-year gap between this movie and A New Hope.
Sure.
What happens?
That's the thing. Is what's going to happen in those 10 years actually going to retroactively have an effect?
No.
on what happens in the original Star Wars. I don't think it is.
No.
Because however deep they try and make his backstory, we're going to come back to A New Hope, and he's just going to be an asshole at a bar who shoots Greedo in the face.
Yeah, and
well, the stomach.
Is very dismissive of the religion of what used to be the entire galaxy.
Exactly. This guy's probably going to have at least one run-in with the Force.
Yeah, and he doesn't believe in it. And that's the thing I've never understood. The gap between the... this is not a problem with this movie, it's just a problem I've always had with Han Solo, and it's George Lucas's fault, is Revenge of the Sith takes place about 20 years before A New Hope. Han Solo was alive in Revenge of the Sith when the Jedi Order were big, and yet 20 years later he doesn't believe in the Force. That's never made sense to me. I don't know. But that's not this movie, so we'll move on. But there's also plenty of other problems with this.
Well, apparently
movie.
the script is very, very badly written, cartoonishly badly written, actually.
They sacked the original directors, Lord and Miller.
Yeah.
Who are brilliant, I think. They would have made a different Star Wars movie.
Ron Howard, isn't it?
Yeah, they got Ron Howard on to save it at the end. But Lord and Miller, apparently they got sacked because they were moving away from. I'm guessing it's Lauren Kasdan's script. I mean, I assume.
Yeah.
He wrote most of them. So they were moving too far away from that, and they were improvising, and the main actor could not improvise, and that's where a lot of the problems came from. He's very must work by the script and couldn't deal with the level of what Lord and Miller wanted. But you've seen the success that Marvel have had of finding these directors that don't make comic book or superhero movies, and they've put their own spin on it and made it themselves. And I feel like this movie could have been that if you'd kept Lord and Miller. Their track record is amazing. They made Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, which is one of the funniest animated movies released.
I can't say I've seen it. I can't pretend to have seen it.
It's brilliant. They made the Lego movie, which everyone thought was going to be terrible.
Yeah, and was actually kind of brilliant.
Yeah, they know what to do with a script and a movie that isn't going to, is a bit out there and a bit weird and not sure if it's going to go anywhere, and turn it into brilliance. And they could have done that with this movie, but of course, what's her name? The leader of Lucasfilm. Lucasfilm, something like that.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah. No, it's not Amy Pascal, she's Sony. But anyway, she is obviously not happy with that. She wants the Star Wars brand to be Star Wars, and has brought in Ron Howard, who I'm not going to say a bad word about. The guy's a very competent director, but he's a safe bet. And I'm not sure if I want that.
I think given what's been leaked about the film, I don't think they need a safe bet.
No.
They need to throw everything they have about it. And that's another thing. Disney seems to have very publicly kind of resigned to the fact it's going to be awful.
Yeah.
There's been another leak that suggests that they're just preparing for the film to bomb and move on with a film set in the universe of the biggest intellectual property in the world.
Yeah.
And resign to it being terrible and move on.
It's not.
It's a mishandling of the property, and I'm not okay with it.
I will admit though, there are some things I'm excited for. I'm very interested in Donald Glover.
Glover as Lando. I'd definitely say that.
He looks amazing in the trailers.
Yeah.
He looks like evil, conniving Lando, which is what you kind of assume Lando was before he joined the rebellion. I love that. I love his cloak. I think that's the most Lando thing possible. The big furry cloak and the Woody Harrelson's always a safe bet.
Yeah.
He used to be a bit of a weird, comedy actor whose, repertoire was interesting, but recently he was in the Planet of the Apes movie and was pretty good. He's Zombieland is one of my favourite films of all time, and he's absolutely amazing in that. There's Emilia Clarke.
Emilia Clarke as unpronounceable name number 2.
I don't watch Game of Thrones. Please don't lynch me. But I've seen her in Genesis. So my introduction to Emilia Clarke is not very good.
No. No, her job in Game of Thrones is she does a fantastic job of it, actually. But how will that translate to film? I don't know.
There's a step up between TV and film.
I think so. Even something as big budget as Game of Thrones, it is something different.
And it's worth saying she wasn't the problem with Genesis.
No.
There was a lot wrong with that movie, and she was probably the best part of it. But then, being the best part of that movie is not, praise. It's
it's the least smelly shit.
Yeah.
In a toilet.
Yeah, and to be honest, standing out in a movie with Jai Courtney and Arnold Schwarzenegger is not a difficult thing to do.
No.
Jai Courtney made Bruce Willis look interesting in Die Hard 5.
Yeah.
Which
and Arnold's draw. I won't say a bad word about the guy because he is an icon.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, but his box office draw is muscles.
Yeah, and recently he's not been his best.
No.
I'd say his last good. What was we had Terminator 2 in '92. That was amazing. Predator was late '80s.
Yeah.
Last Action Hero, which I will not hear a bad word said about, is one of the greatest movies of all time. Although recently he did that zombie movie, didn't he? Is it Maggie or May or something like that?
Couldn't tell you.
That was surprisingly good. It was a bit of like Arnie doing serious acting, which you don't actually expect from the man because it's Arnie.
Well.
But yeah, so we're talking about Terminator a bit too much here instead of Star Wars.
So Solo comes out on May the 25th. It's worth retroactively saying Infinity War is April 27th as well. Really like the way they moved that forward.
Yes.
The Twitter interactions with Robert Downey Jr. just gently stroking the massive ego. So May 25th. Hopefully we'll hear a bit more about it before it comes out.
The trailer didn't look terrible. It wasn't amazing, but trailers are nothing to go on. I personally thought this is the world we live in today. The announcement trailer, because that's a thing now, was better than the actual trailer. The short 30-second thing they released the day before the actual trailer was better because it had that final shot with was it Enric, whatever his name is.
Let's call him Al.
Al. That's when Al is like he's in the dark and it's his silhouette, and then he looks up at the camera and he just looks like Han Solo.
Unfortunately, in everything since then, he's not looked that much. I mean, it's a serviceable appearance, but when you're hiring someone based on their Harrison Ford impression, and they can't do one.
No.
They've hired him, I think, based on looks. I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's entirely possible they'll turn it round, and we'll have to eat our words.
Yeah, so we'll be...
us and half the internet will have to eat our words.
And as much as we are ragging on this movie, I will still be there opening night.
I will absolutely go and watch it.
Because it's Star Wars. Yeah.
And
take my money, Disney.
Exactly.
Right, so now moving on to our fourth topic, which I know absolutely nothing about.
I don't think anyone knows anything about it.
And that is Hideo Kojima's new game, Death Stranding. Now,
to call it a game is charitable.
Is it coming out this year?
It's a thing. It's a thing. Death Stranding.
It might be coming out this year.
As I call it, Hideo Kojima: The Untold Story.
Release date to be announced. So we don't know if it's coming out this year, but we thought it was worth talking about anyway because.
Well, for all of the nothing that we know about, as little as we know about it, there's a lot of talking points.
And it's Hideo Kojima. So you're going to buy it anyway, because the guy's a genius. Like
a genius or a psychopath. I feel like he gets let off a lot.
Where's the line?
Exactly.
Between genius and crazy. Hideo Kojima is that line.
Obviously, Metal Gear is a venerable gaming empire.
Yeah.
Full of fantastic games, fantastic moments, but
and some not so good ones.
At what point do you call bullshit on all of the happenings in them? Metal Gear Solid 4's story was convoluted beyond words. Retroactively adding so much to the series that wasn't. I don't know. There's about 12 hours of cinematics, and most of them are just picture slideshows. Let's put it like that.
This is the one Metal Gear game I've not played.
I've played it to death because I like the stealth. However, I genuinely feel like there's more cinematics than gameplay in this one.
I've heard famously it ends with about an hour-long cutscene.
Yeah. About 45 minutes of 3 different cutscenes tying up all the stories hurriedly.
I've also heard it's just fan service, Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yeah.
'Cause
A lot of old characters come back and then die.
And don't you have like a big Metal Gear fight between the two famous Metal Gears from the series?
The final boss, which I will not have a bad word said about.
Yeah.
It's
Philanthropist?
So you start off with as Solid Snake versus, as he's called, Liquid Ocelot.
Yeah.
Because he's Ocelot, but
With
with
Liquid
an arm
Snake's
from
arm.
Liquid Snake, but Liquid Snake's psyche has transferred to his. And then as you fight, it's proper like a health bars, PS1 era combo sort of affair. And then as you change on, you become...
it's Philanthropist,
I
isn't
think you
it?
say with...
The Metal Gear. Isn't that in it? Philanthropist, the Metal Gear from Metal Gear Solid 1. The one that... Yeah. Isn't that the one from Metal Gear 1? It's the one that Eli steals in Metal Gear 5. Because Eli is Liquid Snake. I think.
Well, this is going to need cutting.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
I don't know what you're on about.
Philanthropist or something like that. It's Metal Gear 1 Metal Gear. And it's Metal Gear Solid 1, isn't it? Metal Gear 1 was an SNES game. We're doing some Googling.
Yeah, we can cut this whole
fucking
segment, I think.
Philanthropist
Sahelanthropus.
Is the Metal Gear...
There you go. Designed by Huey Emmerich.
Is
something to do with Hal. I forget.
This is...
there you go. He's Hal Emmerich's dad, or Otacon.
Yeah.
Otacon's father.
And so
this is just for us.
Yeah.
This is not going to go out.
No.
If it does, then we've done something really wrong.
To be honest, though, my level of editing will be making sure this is recorded. So you might hear all this.
Please take this out. This is an embarrassment.
So there's a big Metal Gear fight at the end of the game. But anyway, we're not talking about Metal Gear as much as we could probably talk about Metal Gear for an entire episode. We probably will do in the future.
At some point.
So Death Stranding, it's Hideo Kojima.
Let off his lead.
Yes.
Which makes me wonder, maybe he was better at Konami with somebody pulling on his leash.
Well, it's George Lucas in Star Wars, isn't it?
Mm.
You need someone. You can't. He's just going to be surrounded by yes men, and they've gone, oh, brilliant, and it's just. There's babies, there's AI, there's Tar, there's naked Norman Reedus.
So there's nothing that can be said. Just go and watch the demo trailer.
Yeah.
That was released. There's nothing it can say, or there's nothing we can say that it can't.
Yeah.
I really feel like the best way to find out about this thing is to go and watch the trailer.
Yeah, we don't know anything about gameplay. We don't know anything about the storyline.
I will buy it if for no other reason as a social experiment.
Yeah.
Because I want to see what Hideo Kojima's like without anyone else around him, just into the mind of the madman genius madman.
Is Guillermo del Toro still involved in this?
I don't know.
Because the one saving grace I think this game has is PT was incredible.
PT was incredible.
I remember if you haven't played PT, it's a demo for a Silent Hill game. It's called Playable Trailer, isn't it? That's what PT stands for. And it's for the cancelled Konami Hideo
Playable
Kojima
teaser, I think it was.
Yeah. And it's you walk down a corridor about 50 times, but it's the most, and stuff happens. There's a ghost and there's a fetus in a sink.
Again, not something that can be solved with words. Just I'd say just play it.
Is it still available, PT?
No, it was pulled pretty much the second Kojima was.
But watch someone else play it then, because it's brilliantly atmospheric. The ghost is called Lisa, I think. Is that?
I forget.
But it is just a corridor, and there's a door at one end and a door at the other, and you walk down it, you go through the door, and then you start at the beginning, and it just repeats.
And of course, the whole thing was a playable teaser.
Yeah.
With obviously a series of puzzles as you made the loop around this same corridor. Would play out. If you managed to play them all, then it revealed that it was a teaser for Silent Hills.
And it was a teaser with multiple endings as well. It was it was brilliant. And if that's anything to go on, if that short little corridor is anything to go on, him and Guillermo del Toro, who may or may not be involved in Death Stranding.
So I'm reading here. Apparently apparently Del Toro has been quoted as saying it's entirely Kojima's game.
So no.
He says it's gonna. He says he thinks it's going to be good, but it's just Kojima and Kojima's ideas, and Guillermo del Toro is nothing more than a puppet. He says his contribution is limited to being a cheerleader for his ideas, and that's about it.
Oh god.
So we're going to get Kojima Unchained, and excited? No. Interested? Yes.
Mads Mikkelsen,
Mads Mikkelsen.
who we
Has he
assume is a
ever
villain.
done? Has he ever done anything bad?
Well, I didn't watch Hannibal, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. King Arthur, did he do King Arthur? Was he part of that film?
I don't know.
I swear, he was one of those. It's the guy from Children of Men. Clive Owen. It's a Clive Owen movie. It's really good. He's in that. He's a guy that's crazy with a falcon. That's brilliant. Doctor Strange, he was the best part of that movie.
I think he made Casino Royale as well.
Yeah, he made.
Casino Royale. Probably my best James Bond film.
I'd say best modern Bond film. That or
well, they're almost impossible to compare because
Yeah.
the older ones are so cartoony. You know, they're products of their time, aren't they?
my biggest problem with the modern Bond movies is that they're Bourne movies. They're just like, hey, Jason Bourne was cool. Let's do that with James Bond.
Yeah, I see your point. Anyway, so that's Death Stranding. We'll have to talk about more as more is released because we
Yes.
have 9 minutes of the most nonsensical thing I've ever seen in my life.
Just go and watch the trailer.
The highlight for me, Norman Reedus' mouth is open, we get a camera go down his throat and we see a baby click his fingers in Norman Reedus' throat.
Yeah.
I really wish I was making this up. I feel like I'm on some sort of hallucinogenic as I say these words. But anyway, let's move on again.
We've been going for an hour and we're on the 4th topic out of like 10, so we might start speeding things up at this
I
point.
think we might need to.
So final major point of this year is the much awaited, and although by the sounds of things not very good, Deadpool 2.
Now, I am excited for this. I can't hide that I am. But apparently Fox have said that the test screenings were terrible.
Yeah.
And that's the word they used. Which doesn't fill me with hope.
No.
As I don't think it would.
And this is the same, Fox that put faith in X-Men Origins Wolverine.
So the thing with Deadpool is what made it such a hit is that it was different to every single superhero movie we'd ever seen. It was so kind of out there, so in your face. And is that because of Deadpool as a character? Probably.
Yeah.
But the idea is it's the novelty
Yeah.
of the character, and Deadpool 2 has to stand up on its own merits because there's no novelty anymore. People are going to go in knowing, oh gosh, how are they going to top the first film? And if they don't do that, obviously it's not going to live up. Now I don't know too much about what made the test screenings terrible. I just know that the first reactions were absolutely horrific. Apparently there's half an hour in the middle where nothing happens.
Yep.
So they are going through reshoots currently. Apparently they're adding more Domino and more Cable.
I'll never say no to more Cable.
I'd never say no to more Josh Brolin.
Yeah. See, I think the biggest problem this movie has is the first movie. Because
it's its own worst enemy, isn't it?
the beautiful thing about that first Deadpool movie was, first of all, we had the leaked footage, the test footage, which blew up on the internet and is the whole reason we had the movie. And rightly so, that was brilliant when I first saw it. I was like, this is perfect. And then we had, who leaked it? Was it the directors? Was it Ryan Reynolds? Who did it? I mean, it's one of them. They've admitted it's one of them, but they won't say who it is, I don't think. And then we had what is the greatest marketing campaign I think I've ever seen for anything. The Deadpool marketing was... it was just so new and so brilliant and so meta and so Deadpool. And, we haven't had any of that for this movie. We've had a Bob Ross trailer, which was really boring.
It was.
That's
what I mean, the novelty of Deadpool.
Yeah.
It's the problem with the comics.
Yeah.
The comic book Deadpool is that once you know what he is, nothing he does can take you by surprise. He's just kind of wacky. It's like, oh, I'm mad. I've got swords. Me, what's that? Have some cheese. I'll eat some cheese.
the success of the first film will be the death of this film. Not only because lightning never strikes twice. Deadpool is a character that I don't think it will work twice, but mainly because part of the charm of the original Deadpool was that Fox had no faith in it. They gave it no budget. Like the final fight scene between what's his name, Francis, and Deadpool.
Yes, Francis, aka
The reason that fight exists, and the reason that there's the ongoing joke in the movie that Deadpool keeps forgetting his bag of guns, is because they couldn't afford a gunfight. They didn't have the budget to film a gunfight. They didn't have the budget to do so many things that they had to work around it. And the way they worked around it was, we'll make a joke. We'll make this as Deadpool as we can. Now they've got the budget, that we're going to get these big gunfight scenes, and we're going to get these, we're going to have moments of Deadpool shooting people and making fun one-liners, and I don't see what more they can do. I will admit the trailer with Cable's arm, where they haven't put the CGI in, he's just walking around with the green glove, that sort of thing is funny, and if they did something like that in the movie, I would love it, but they won't do that in the movie.
To go so kind of forceful with it.
If they did something like that in the movie, or like Deadpool accidentally shoots a cameraman, or something like that, I would love it, but they won't do something like that.
No. I feel like now that Fox are on board with it, they'll boil it down to gunfights and one-liners, and that's what I'm worried about.
It will turn into Spider-Man. That's in the same sense that the reason that Spider-Man has been so successful in the MCU is because of Deadpool.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man is their version of Deadpool. Their self-referential, their nerdy character who... But now I feel like Deadpool's going to turn into Spider-Man. He's not going to be enough of himself. So, yeah, and we've been really positive about absolutely everything that we've talked about so far.
Get used to that. We're not positive people. We can see the good in things.
But we're about to be positive, because now we're moving on to the second section, where there's some interesting things, but we're not going to go fully into depth in all of them. We're just going to talk about things that are happening this year.
There's one very glaringly negative one that I can see.
The next one is I am so excited about, because I am a 6-year-old at heart, and that is Nintendo Labo.
Now, I'm not sure what to make of this one.
Nintendo broke the internet with cardboard. That is perfect.
It's the most Nintendo thing that's ever happened.
Yes.
Indicative, if anything, of the rabid fan base Nintendo can still whip into a frenzy, like with more recently, say, like a 30-second Smash Brothers trailer.
That shows nothing.
That shows nothing. It shows Splatoon and then the logo and the legacy of their...
Best game series, I'd say.
Well, the legacy...
Well, apart from Mario.
For people to get whipped up on the kind of the heritage of the game alone.
Even though it would probably just be a port of the Wii U version.
Or it's not going to be that different, surely.
Well, then none of them are that different. But
so Nintendo broke the internet with cardboard.
we should probably explain what it is if people haven't seen it. Either way they have.
Have you ever felt that the Switch is too modern? Well, now you can tie some cardboard and string to it, and then you can be a robot or a boxer.
It's VR for kids.
It's VR for kids.
But I'm still going to buy it.
Now, I own a VR headset for big boys.
Yes.
So perhaps that's the root of my cynicism for this. Is that I mean, VR is something to talk about for another episode, because it's genuinely the way forward, whether we're there yet or not. As it stands, quite a good idea. The Switch has always been marketed as a family console, and I think this is that personified.
And it's incredible. If you don't own a Switch, go and buy one, because it's the future of home gaming. Something that you can plug into your TV and play as a console, and then just take with you. And there's no loss in quality. There's no loss in frame.
I was staggered by the I was expecting something to freeze, but how kind of snappy, instantaneous it is. It really took me by surprise. You can take the sort of the 60 FPS experience with you in your hands. And
the most amazing thing about the Switch, which I like, you expect it to be the other way round, but the screen quality on the portable is better than in a TV. Because
is that just because everything's compressed?
No, it's because they scale it up for a television. And also, if you own a Switch, don't play it through 1080p. You've got to play it through 720, because the Switch is only capable of 720. So if you play it through a 1080p HD setting, it massively scales up and it doesn't quite work. Well, to be fair, the Switch actually runs at 90, which I don't think anything is made in 90p.
No.
So, but it's best to do it through 720. But we're not talking about the Switch, but it is an amazing console, and now Nintendo might be releasing the Switch 2. That's a rumor at the moment. They've.
I think it's very soon.
Well, yeah, but how many DSs do they release a year?
That's true. The most redundant console in the world, the Nintendo 2DS.
Yeah.
Do you want a DS that doesn't fold over?
Yeah.
No? Oh dear, because that's what we've done for you.
But that's Nintendo for you, isn't it?
Well, exactly. They
throw everything at the wall, see what sticks, and it works.
Unfortunately, yeah, Nintendo can throw any size of steak they like, but their rabid fan base will pounce on it like wolves.
Yeah, but the Labo is amazing. There's a robot one where you put it on and you stomp around and destroy a town, and it's like a full backpack robot suit with arms and legs. There's a motorbike. There's a fishing rod. There's a house, which I haven't quite got. The most amazing one though is the piano. It's like a cardboard piano that you put the screen in and you press the keys and it makes a sound, and it does that because one of the Joy-Cons on the Switch has got an infrared camera on it. And the piano keys have got reflective metal tape in them, and it shines the infrared light on the different metal tape as you press the keys. So it's all very, for a piece of cardboard, it's very technical. But I think it's incredible that you can make just a cardboard keyboard and then play it because of a Switch.
Yeah. So TLDR, Nintendo broke the internet with card, £60 card.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on again.
Alright, next thing we've got to talk about is the DC's attempt at a movie this year, and that is...
attempt.
Well, am I wrong?
So cynically phrased.
That's Aquaman, and I say attempt, but apparently this is amazing.
So, DC's big, again, something we can elaborate on. This is meant to be an introductory episode, and we're going into it a little bit. DC's big problem has been character building.
Yes.
Suicide Squad massively suffer with that. They try and throw. Is it because it's a film for the fans? That can be argued, but they just throw 6 or 7 massive characters at you. You know, the Joker, Harley Quinn, Deadshot. They're all big personalities, and we're expected to believe that they just bond instantaneously. This group of cynical, arrogant superheroes, or supervillains rather.
There's a lot to be said about Suicide Squad, and the main point I will make is a movie's bad when Jai Courtney is the best part of it.
Yeah.
Although he was amazing in that movie.
Yeah.
Like, Captain Boomerang was the best part, but they have not had well, Wonder Woman was really good, but was it good in comparison to the other movies? Matt's going to disagree with me entirely, but I think they've not made a good movie since Man of Steel, because Man of Steel is a masterpiece of a Superman movie, and I will fight anyone that disagrees with me.
No, I don't dislike it. I just think it was a bit boring.
It was a bit long. It was too long, and the destruction scene at the end was a bit crazy. But
if any DC character doesn't work in a dark and broody setting, it's Superman.
Yes.
He's always been about the American way, truth and justice, and you try and make him mopey, and it doesn't work. Because then you zoom out and he's in a bright blue suit with a big badge on it. Batman works in the dreary kind of setting. The Dark Knight trilogy, fucking outstanding trilogy.
And the brilliant thing about the Dark Knight trilogy is Batman's not in it. You watch those movies, Batman is... How long is... He's in the suit for 20 minutes each movie.
Yeah.
It's a character study, and that's why... And Bruce Wayne is the perfect character to do a character study on, because he's just a guy whose parents died, so he decides to dress up like a bat.
Exactly. to quote Justice League, what's your superpower? I'm a billionaire.
Yeah, it's... Justice League.
I'm rich.
Justice League is really good, though. It's not Marvel levels yet, but it's definitely a step in the right direction.
So I haven't seen it.
Matt doesn't like comic books. He's a fair weather fan.
Okay, so I haven't seen it. All I know is I'm sad that the Flash isn't Grant Gustin.
Yeah.
I think Grant Gustin does somehow makes the Flash quite a broody character in the CW series.
I love the Flash. I mean, I haven't watched I stopped watching after series 3, but I love that show because it goes balls to the wall comic book.
Exactly.
Which they can't do on the big screen. You can't start a Justice League movie and throw in Gorilla Grodd and the Weather Wizard. Because...
Exactly, yeah.
But...
So, I, again, haven't seen Justice League. From what I understand, Jason Momoa does a stellar job as Aquaman.
He's the best part of that movie. He's funny, he's charismatic, he's not Khal Drago as Aquaman, which is what everyone thought he was going to be. He's Jason Momoa as Aquaman. He's funny. He's charismatic. He's a cool dude. But it's promising, and the underwater scenes they filmed for Justice League, they go to Atlantis a couple of times, are really good. The effect is really good. I don't know if they filmed it underwater. I mean, they must have, I suppose, but it's really well done, and they have they go into air bubbles to have conversations and things like that.
It's going to be a very interesting setting, Atlantis, for
But
a standalone film.
we're building up for Justice League. Flashpoint movie, we're a war between the Themyscirians and the Atlanteans.
Oh, this is definitely something for another time.
I'm championing this idea.
Ollie is hoping that the entire DC extended universe is building to a cinematic fight between Themyscira and Atlantis.
Yep.
And that's all he wants.
Yep.
He doesn't care about
I don't care
the
if
possible
Batman's in it.
introduction of any other
You can
big DC supervillains, superheroes making cameos.
Nope.
No other interesting character development.
Don't need
He just wants to see Themyscira fight Atlantis.
Yep. Because it would be amazing.
That is 100% something for another time.
Yeah.
Because that's a whole different thing.
So who's directing? This is James Wan directing this
This is
Aquaman,
James Wan.
who's incredible. I don't think he's made a bad film. He rebooted the Fast and Furious franchise when that was dead, and now look at that today. Well, he didn't reboot it; he just revamped it, because I think he did Fast 4, 5, and 6. He created Saw, which although didn't turn out great, the first one which he made with James Whannell, who then took over the franchise. James Whannell is in Saw. He's the dark-haired guy that's in the bathtub at the beginning. Those two made the original Saw, and that movie is incredible. He's also, I think he's in charge of the Conjuring series, so he's a horror director. But that's not a bad thing. A lot of horror movies are terrible. But you've seen the people who started out in low-budget horror movies going on to making incredible movies. You had Sam Raimi started off with Evil Dead, and then he made Spider-Man. And then you've had Peter Jackson, used to make B-list horror movies in the 80s and 90s, and then
now he's Peter Jackson.
He made The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So it's not, to say someone came from horror is not necessarily a bad thing.
Well, as we'll see when we examine Marvel,
Yes.
a couple of directors came from rom-coms
Yeah.
on horror films, and now they've made Marvel movies.
Yeah. So I have a lot of faith in James Wan. I have a lot of faith in Jason Momoa. I feel he's a perfect.
I think the cast around him is. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah.
Although Amber Heard is Mera. Amber Heard.
I don't know. I know her name, but I have no idea who Amber Heard is right now. Okay, I've seen a picture of her and I still don't know who she is.
So she's been in Hidden Palms. I believe she was in
Pineapple
Drive
Express.
Angry. That's the one I know her from.
I've not seen Drive Angry. I've seen The Rum Diary, which is in with Johnny Depp.
Apparently she was in Justice League as Mera.
Oh, Mera. Okay, sorry. Yeah, no, I did see that. Yeah.
Maybe we can cut that.
Yeah,
because
we'll
that's
cut
embarrassing.
that.
So let's start again. 1, 2, 3. So you look at the cast surrounding.
I'm gonna leave that in.
Okay.
So yeah, she's cool. Who else have we got?
So we've got Patrick Wilson as All Marius, the main antagonist of the film.
Yep. We did look into him, and although we don't know where he's come from, being an unknown doesn't necessarily, he's not been a major actor. But look at oh god, I can't remember his name. The guy that plays Cyborg in Justice League. This is his first ever movie, and he was amazing.
So Willem Dafoe is in it as well.
Perfect.
Nudis Volko. And Yahya Abdul Mateen II.
Yeah.
As obviously Black Manta, who's
Yes.
not the main antagonist, which I didn't realise.
No. So who's
Ocean Master. Patrick Wilson, Ocean Master, is apparently the main antagonist.
Oh, okay. No, I've got confused. Sorry, I was talking Patrick Wilson. I do know who Patrick Wilson is. Patrick Wilson is incredible. I'm going to cut this and make myself sound smart. Patrick Wilson is. He was in Phantom of the Opera as Raoul, I think. Can we just make sure this is definitely the same Patrick Wilson? Yeah. He is in The Conjuring. He plays the main character in those movies. He was in Hard Candy, which was a really messed up film with him and Ellen Page, where he plays a paedophile, and she psychologically tortures him.
He was in Watchmen as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was our Night Owl.
Yeah, Night Owl and Watchmen.
So
Danny
yeah,
Driver.
I'm gonna have to edit
That's
this.
where I know him from.
I'm gonna have to edit this down. I do know my actors. I swear, I'm an intelligent man. The guy that plays Black Manta is the unknown.
I mean, we looked into him, and he's literally
Done like 2 movies,
So,
but
he's been in Baywatch.
Yes.
And The Greatest Showman.
I mean, both
One of which I know nothing about. The other one
has had good reviews. Great Showman's had pretty good reviews.
No. The Greatest Showman is nothing I know nothing about. Baywatch was one of the highest achieving films at the Golden Raspberries. So, again, haven't seen it, but when a film makes the Razzie shortlist, you don't inherently expect good things.
And quickly, before we move on, the news has, or not news, rumour has just broken of Tom Cruise being Green Lantern. How do you feel about that?
Well, he can't do any worse than Ryan Reynolds. That's what I would say.
And the Top Gun reference is kind of beautiful. That's the kind of self-referential, like... But we don't really know anything about that. It's not even been confirmed. It's just a rumour. But I like it. Tom Cruise is a good actor.
Again, we'll touch more on the inherent problems with Green Lantern if we ever do an episode on the cinematic universe.
Right, here we go, Matt.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yes.
Let's talk about Ready Player One.
Looked amazing when I first saw the teaser trailer. I was ridiculously excited about it. There was a DeLorean, there was the Iron Giant, there was characters from Overwatch. I thought this was going to be like, the perfect movie for our subculture. And then they released another trailer, and oh my god.
It's becoming very Big Bang Theory-esque in that it's relying on reference. It's relying on us going, hey, look, it's the car from the film. Look at the car and laugh, everybody.
Yeah.
It's the same reason I hate the Big Bang Theory. It's referential. It's not like you can watch clips from the Big Bang Theory and go, obviously there's a sitcom audience, but people will just laugh at jokes that weren't there.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I'm just checking something quickly. Matt will fill in for me.
Will I?
Yes.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm checking is the main actor. I'm pretty sure I've seen him in one movie before, and if it's the actor I think it is, we have a lot to worry about. I don't know who the main character of Ready Player One is. I'm looking at names here. Oh God, is it him? Ty Sheridan? Yes, it is. So the main character in this movie is the guy that ruined Cyclops in X-Men Apocalypse. I mean, to be fair, he didn't ruin it more than James Marsden did. Although, I'm not really too excited about that because I thought his performance as Cyclops was absolutely awful. Because James Marsden wasn't great, but that's because they gave him nothing to do. James Marsden is a good actor. I really hope it's James Marsden that I'm talking about here. I'm just going to check that before I sound stupid. It is, yeah. James Marsden he was given nothing to do with Cyclops. This dude was given a lot to do with Cyclops. Was basically like one of the main characters of that movie and just ruined it. So I don't really have faith in him. He's probably done some other good things. Apparently he's been in A Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse. And Mud. Mud was a good film. But yeah, so not the greatest repertoire, but we'll see how he does.
So neither of us are excited for that.
No, although Ben Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn is in it. I was going to mention Ben Mendelsohn's presence.
Yeah. I'm excited about Ben Mendelsohn. He's a good actor.
So another one. Well, we need to really speed things up, I think.
Yes.
We are rambling.
Next, it's Far Cry 5.
So very hard for me to be excited about Far Cry because Ubisoft sandboxes are all the same nowadays.
Very true. Origins was a breath of fresh air, though.
See, you enjoyed Origins.
Yeah.
I didn't. That's because
you ran straight to the Pyramids of Giza at level 1.
Yeah, I did get stuck at Giza, yes, but I don't know. I don't think it went far enough with what it was doing.
But it's a step in the right direction.
It's a step in the right direction.
And the co-op for Far Cry 5 is going to be really fun, even if the story's rubbish.
So the main draw for Far Cry 5 for me is fully fledged co-op throughout the whole campaign. That's something I think Far Cry has needed since Far Cry 3.
It was in Far Cry 4, but not it wasn't very well implemented. You can only do it on certain missions, and but this is fully and even when there's two characters, so even when you're not playing it co-op, you have a sidekick who's AI controlled. I think is where they're going with this because there's so it's going to be good. It's set in Trump's America, getting political there.
Let's not ever do that. Let's never go there.
So, but it's interesting. It's very Outlast 2.
An interesting setting, more so than Far Cry 4, I think.
Yes, but not as interesting as Far Cry 3.
No. Far Cry 3's draw for me was not actually Vars.
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Far Cry's draw for me was Jason Brody's character arc. It was fascinating.
Yeah.
To watch him slowly descend into this kind of, and Vars, yeah, he's a character. Why they killed him off halfway through.
He's better than Pagan Min.
Yes, he's better than Pagan Min.
One question, spoilers. Did you kill your girlfriend?
Did I kill my girlfriend?
Because I did.
I don't remember.
I
Do you know,
did.
I don't think I did.
You get a really weird ending if you do.
It's a very strange ending. I looked it up. So,
yeah.
Citra, I believe her name is. If you choose not to murder your girlfriend,
Yeah.
then Citra takes a dagger for you so you can run away.
Yeah.
If you choose to kill your girlfriend, you then have sex with Citra, who stabs you in the heart.
Yeah.
Um,
I wonder if there's going to be any, quickly before we move on again, I wonder if there's going to be any meta jokes like the beginning of Far Cry 4. Like if you just sit at the table like Pagan Min asks you to, the game just ends. Because I loved that.
I thought that was quite a nice touch, and there was a certain song that played, I can't remember what it was.
It's Clash.
Should I Stay or Should I Go?
Yeah.
Which I thought was perfect. Okay.
Okay, so next thing is The Last of Us 2. We've had a trailer.
We've had a trailer.
Where Ellie plays the guitar.
Yeah, there's not much more that can be said about that.
The first one was a game changer in the video game industry.
It was the resurgence of Naughty Dog.
We're not going to sit here and talk about...
Uncharted, of course.
Yeah, but we're not going to sit here and talk about Last of Us because everything has already been said. It's a perfect game. It's amazing. The characters, the voice acting, everything is brilliant. The second one, Uncharted 4 gives me that worries. We're at an hour and 17 minutes, so we need to be quick. Uncharted 4 worries me because I hated Uncharted 4. I know a lot of people liked it. I hated it. So it could go either way, but I think Naughty Dog have a good enough record that I think this would be a good shout. Anything else?
Not for me to add.
Okay, so now we move on to our no one really cares, but we're going to talk about it anyway section. We're getting some new Marvel Netflix series.
I think The Punisher is scheduled for December.
Yeah.
We've just had Jessica Jones drop on International Women's Day, which I thought was quite a nice touch for it to drop out of nowhere like that.
It wasn't great.
I have not seen any of it. It's like 13 hours of material, and I simply haven't had the time to watch any of it.
Okay, it might be good, but it's such a step down from Jessica Jones Season 1, which has been the best Marvel series we've got. One of the best things on television in the last 10 years. That it was never going to live up to that. It's not as good. It's still worth watching. It's on Netflix. Go and watch it. And what else are we getting? We're getting Daredevil Season 3.
Yeah, Daredevil Season 3. Do we really need Daredevil Season 3?
No,
Not really.
We had Daredevil Season 2, which was half good.
And then,
bad.
we've had Daredevil Season 3. I call it The Defenders.
Yeah. And we're going to be getting a Luke Cage and an Iron Fist. Luke Cage I kind of liked. I thought they ruined it when they got rid of Cottonmouth, because Diamondback was not an interesting villain. Cottonmouth was fascinating. Iron Fist was just a guy moaning about having superpowers.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about these at another time. We'll go in depth because I've got a lot to say about all of these shows. Next up, we have finally Netflix have announced Arrested Development Season 5.
So the problem with seasons 1 to 3 of Arrested Development I think are brilliant. The setting.
Some of the greatest comedy ever produced.
So the kind of quirky mockumentary setting I think works so fantastically. The characters are all brilliantly
played. The cast is incredible.
And that's the problem with season 4, is that the cast weren't all available at the same time. So you have this kind of choppy, changey,
weird structure,
single narrative that takes place sort of in different places at different times.
But that's not the case with this season. They're all back. They're all there full time. So we might be getting...
I think it might be quite good.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's quite good.
I mean, Season 4 wasn't bad. It just was a step down from Season 1 to 3.
Exactly.
If Season 4 was a standalone show, it would be really well received. It's just that it wasn't as good as 1
It
to
was
3.
following in the footsteps of
Yeah.
something it couldn't compare to.
All right, so we've got, as Matt's put, Ant-Man.
Ant-Man,
Which
that was a mistake.
Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming out. Is it this year?
I believe it's this year. It's straddling the 2 Infinity War films.
It's Paul Rudd. I'll never say no to Paul Rudd.
No, does beg the question of what the fuck are they doing while Thanos is running rampant on New York?
Yep.
Um,
But we've got an Ant-Man movie.
we've got an Ant-Man film.
We've
It'll
had
be
a trailer.
interesting. It'll be interesting to see how they're implemented into Infinity War, if they are in Part 2.
Yep.
Because again, what on earth are they doing? What on earth can they do? But what on earth are they doing?
Yep. So it's going to be fun. Ant-Man 1 was a sleeper hit. It was good. I had a lot of fun with it. We've got Evangeline Lilly coming in. She was in the first one, but she's the Wasp now. More Douglas, which I'll never say no to. So yeah, that's going to be... I mean, it's a Marvel movie. Like, it's a pretty safe bet.
Although some have been a bit naff, none have been bad.
No, apart from Thor: The Dark World.
Apart from Full of the Dark World, but yes. Let's move on.
But... So it's a Marvel movie. It's bankable. It's going to make Disney a shit ton of money. It's, you know, I love that we live in a world where that's a thing. You can just go, it's a Marvel movie. Like,
Yeah.
So, and then we've got, on the other hand, we've got Dark Phoenix. Why?
So,
Why?
I'm not sure what they're going for. I don't know if this is an MCU film.
I don't think it is. I think it's still part of the Fox universe.
It's still a Fox Universe film. Dark Phoenix is a mess.
Yeah.
The story is a mess. Everything is a mess.
There's
If
only-
they can transfer it into a single standalone film,
Yeah.
I'll be impressed. So it's there's Sophie Turner as Jean Grey
Game of Thrones.
of Game of Thrones,
And
fame.
nothing else.
And not really anything else. No.
Although she was absolutely awful in Apocalypse as Jean Grey. So, no. So,
So
good luck.
this film is this film plonks her at the centre.
Yep. Who else?
So we've got Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, which
Is good.
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence is
Jennifer
bankable.
Lawrence is-
She's
yeah.
a good actress.
Michael Fassbender,
Perfect.
Magneto,
Perfect.
yeah.
Fassbender and McAvoy are. It pains me to say this, but they're better than McKellen and Stewart.
So
Do you agree? Would you agree with me there, or?
I feel as though I can't. I feel as something inside me is stopping me from agreeing with you.
I love McAvoy because they got amazing chemistry because they're best friends in real life. Like they met
So
on.
the problem is, the surrounding cast are brilliant, but at the heart of the Dark Phoenix saga, you've got Cyclops and Jean Grey. And Cyclops is obviously Ty Sheridan, the
Who
guy
we've
who
talked about.
ruined it.
We've talked
in
about.
Apocalypse, as we've mentioned. And Sophie Turner as Jean Grey, who was pathetic when she last played her.
Now we're not saying she's a bad actress.
No, we're saying she's a bad Jean Grey.
Yes, she might be able to turn it around. It's a few years later. She's matured. She's done a few more jobs with Game of Thrones. She may have, she may be able to turn it around. But so far we've had adaptation after adaptation, including the original comic book version of the Dark Phoenix, and I'd say the only thing that's ever done it justice is the 90s cartoon series.
Yeah, because it was given time.
Yeah.
It inherently doesn't. The inherent problem with turning massive comic book story arcs into films is you have to gloss over so many different things.
I mean, do we have to mention The Last Stand? I mean, that movie was doomed to start from the beginning. If you're putting Mutant Cure and Dark Phoenix in the same hour-and-a-half long movie,
Yeah.
like the two biggest X-Men arcs, really, aren't they? And you're just smushing them both into one. It was never going to work. It's going to be better than Last Stand. I'm making that prediction right now.
Well, yeah.
Because it hasn't got fucking Brett Ratner at the
No.
helm. Who is directing it, actually? Is it still the guy that did X-Men originally? I can't remember what he's called now. Bryan Singer. Is he still around, or have they changed it?
Simon Kinberg directing.
So we have a guy called Simon Kinberg, who I don't know very well.
He did The Martian. He did Fantastic. Fantastic Four reboot. Terrible.
Yeah, those are all producers. What has he directed?
I see.
He's produced some good movies and Fantastic.
He has one credit, and it's for Dark Phoenix.
So this is his.
So this is his first. What a first film to have to direct.
Okay, I'm going to make a prediction here. It's not going to be very good.
No, it's not going to be very good.
I mean, I'm sure the guy's not terrible, but the first thing you've ever directed to be a movie that's this important and this. He might pull it out of the bag. We don't know.
We can never be sure, can we?
And I hope he does. I want to see a good Dark Phoenix movie. And Fox have pulled it out of the bag before. Look at Logan. Look at Deadpool. Look at the first 2 X-Men movies. First Class. First Class was amazing. They have precedent. I hope they pull it out of the bag. I'm waiting for the obligatory slow motion Quicksilver scene that's gonna be in there.
Yeah.
At least Fox did something interesting with Quicksilver, which can't be said of Marvel. Right, so we've this was meant to be a quick take about these movies, and we've just talked for about 5 minutes about this one. So moving on to our final topic of the day.
Very quick one. Incredibles 2. Tee-hee.
Perfect. It's going to be
it's going to be brilliant.
Original cast, original director. Incredibles is my favourite Pixar movie.
The marketing so far has been excellent.
Incredibles is perfect.
Not that it needed much of a marketing campaign.
So I can't see this failing. It's Pixar. When have they failed?
Exactly.
Cars 2.
Fuck's sake! I was going to say we could end on some goddamn positivity, Ollie.
But it's Pixar. It's going to be great. It's it looks like it's a direct continuation from the first movie, which is I kind of wanted it to be in real time. I wanted to see like grown up Dash and Violet and their story, but we're not going to get that. But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it's going to be really interesting. So I think that's it. And this has been our podcast. We're 2 Polished Nerds. Thank you for listening. I've been Ollie.
And I've been Matt.